Book 20. Book 20. And if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. This is the D. Louise book series. I'm Christine, K-R-S-T-I-N-A. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that bench stuff going on here. Get my gal pal. So, book 20, Nixie Swisher. There are so many of the books that you will remember. You read them, you will remember. And this is one of the books you remember. An entire family slaughtered in their beds. And this couple, friends, the woulda, coulda, shouldas are going to kill these people for the rest of their lives. But these two couples are friends. Their kids are best friends. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And the one couple is planning a romantic getaway. So, as a treat for their daughter, she's going to get to stay over at her friend's house while they go to the motel and have their romantic getaway. Instead of paying a sitter to come stay at their place, they left her at their best friend's house, which most girls would love to be at their best friend's house. It's an extra treat. Everybody's done it gazillion times. Well, this one night, people come in and slaughter the entire family, including the housekeeper and the two kids. However, Nixie had a house guest, and she woke up in the middle of the night. Nixie woke up in the middle of the night wanting a beverage, and she gets up to get the beverage, and her house guest doesn't want to get up to get the beverage. Are you giving me your back? Are you giving me your back? Huh? Are you turning around on me? Are you giving me your back? Are you mad at me for something? So, So Nixie goes to get herself a beverage because her friend doesn't want to. And that's what saved Nixie's life. Because they were expecting two parents, a housekeeper, and a boy and a girl. They weren't expecting a third child in the house. So Nixie's in the kitchen hiding behind the counter, and they never even bothered looking because they just naturally assumed that they'd gotten the two kids. So it's horrific. It's heart-wrenching. We also get a visit from the DeBlasses, but not till the very, very end. And Peabody is still recovering from her injuries in the last book, from visions. But there's a couple of, normally I don't read stuff that's related to the plot, because I did read all of these in 2024, and I didn't read them in 2025 because I'd already read them in 2024, and I didn't want to review them twice. So then I decided that I could just read them and share my characters with you and share my favorite quotes with you. So that's what we're doing all of 2026. There's over 60 books. We're going to enjoy these every single Saturday. What? What are you looking at? What are you doing? Why are you giving me your back? And a tail. Wump. So, and this might be the, so Eve is at the place, and Eve is doing her surveying, and Eve puts herself in the scene, and she sees stuff that other people don't see, and she says, Officer Grimes, Lieutenant, Peabody said from the doorway, first on scene. Who called this in, Grimes? Eve asked without turning around. Unidentified female. And where is this unidentified female? Lieutenant, I assume she was one of the Vics. She glanced back now and saw Grimes, the tall, lean woman in mannish trousers and a battered leather jacket. The cool brown eyes, flat cop eyes in a sharply featured face. Her hair was brown like her eyes, short, croppy rather than sleek. She had a rep, and when the icy gaze pinned him, he knew she'd earned it. So our 911 calls in murder, then hops in bed so she can get her throat sliced? The kid might have called it in, Lieutenant, then tried to hide in bed. How long you been on the badge, Grimes? 2 years. I know civilians who've got a better sense of a crime scene than you. Fifth victim, identified as Lenny Dyson, age 9, who is not a resident of this address, who is not one Nixie Swisher. Peabody, start a search of the residence. There's a fifth person in this house. Would you stop? Are you gonna hit me the whole video? Womp, 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 womp. There she is. Miss America. In my filthy house. Filled with books and more books and more books. So Nixie doesn't want to go with the I can't think of it now. It's in here. With the human services, not human services, child services. But Nixie wants to go with Eve. She trusts Eve. Eve found her. She wants to go with Eve. She trusts you. She knows you're in charge, and she trusts you to keep her safe. She's the eyewitness, and she's a traumatized kid. We'll get more out of her, bound to, if she feels safe, if she's settled, at least as much as she can be. A few days, like a transition before she ends up in the system. Put yourself in her shoes, Dallas. Would you feel better with the icy kick-ass cop or the bored, overworked CPS Joan? I can't babysit a kid. I'm not equipped. You're equipped to pull information out of a witness, and this would give you full access. You wouldn't have to go through the annoyance of clearance from CPS every time you wanted to question him. Thoughtful now, Eve glanced at Nixie. Probably only a day, 2 tops. Somerset knows about kids, even if he is an A. How much more traumatized could she get looking at his ugly face, considering? Basically, I'd be housing a witness. Big house. That's the spirit. Pretty clever for someone who's only been back on the job for a couple of days. I may not be up for chasing down suspects on foot quite yet, but my mind's sharp as ever. Too bad. I was hoping concussion and coma might have honed that area. But you get what you get. Mean. I could be meaner, but it's 5 in the morning and I haven't had enough coffee. I've got to make a call. And human services gives her huge grief, but she calls and tells Rourke that they're going to be housing the kid, and they're okay with it. Rourke and Somerset have no problem with it. And yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What? What? So they're taking the kid to the house. You live here? In a castle? It's not a castle. Okay, maybe it looked like one, she admitted. The vastness of it, the stones gleaming in the early light with all those juts and towers, all that space of green and trees shimmering with the last sparks of fall. But that was Rourke for you. He didn't do ordinary. It's just a really big house. It's a mag house, Peabody says. Lots of rooms, tons of wall screens, games, even a pool. In the house? Yeah, can you swim? Dad taught us. And she gets all upset because she's thinking about her family. Um, so then we're gonna move on. But Eve knows that uh what did I do with it now? It was an op. That's how it ran for me. An operation planned and practiced. You think they had access to the house before last night, Mira says. Oh, I completely forgot. Absolutely 100% completely forgot. But you probably know this by book 20. Eve is a lieutenant in New York City Police and Security Department. Peabody is her partner. Rourke is her husband. Somerset's the major domo. Mira is the department shrink. Feeney is her old mentor, and he is captain of EDD. Whitney is the big boss. Baxter and Trueheart work for her as detectives. McNabb is Peabody's significant other, and he's also a detective in EDD. Mavis and is her best friend, who's a rock star. Leonardo is a fashion designer. And Nadine is a reporter for Channel 75 and future author and future Oscar winner. Nadine's got stuff ahead. So she's talking to Mira, the department shrink, and Mira's come to the house to talk to Nixie so that Nixie doesn't have to come to the police station. It was an op. That's how it ran for me. An operation planned and practiced. You think they had access to the house before last night? Mira said. Maybe. In any case, they knew the layout where everyone slept. If the housekeeper was primary, there was no reason to take the second floor and vice versa. So it was a clean sweep. How long do you figure she'll be out? The kid. I couldn't say. I don't want to hold you up. And you're anxious to get to work yourself. I haven't talked to the Emmy or finished my report, harassed the lab, or yelled at the sweepers. People are gonna think I'm on vacation. Why don't you contact me when, she added. Somerset stepped in the doorway. Lieutenant, your charge is awake. All right, fine. You got time to start this now? Um, yeah, so they're gonna talk to the kid. And she's forever asking Eve, did she catch him yet? And she hasn't caught him yet. Um, alright. Uh, so she's talking to Feeney, her mentor, and they're discussing the case, right? And uh, I'm going to need all the transmissions in and out, personal and household. That's all the phone records. All security desks, you'll have them. I'm putting weight on this one. Got grandchildren that age, for Christ's sake. Whatever you need on this one, you've got it. Thanks. And then she's looking at him. Is that real coffee? Why? Because I can see it on your face. I can see it in your eyes. What if it is? Where'd you get it? Maybe I swung by your office to update you when you weren't there. And since you've got a goddamn unlimited supply of this stuff, I helped myself to one lousy mug. Don't see why you're having to be so stingy when you've helped yourself to anything else while you were there, such as candy? Candy? You've got candy? That's for me to know and you to keep your hands off. I'll get back to you. And the candy thief, I have my personal opinion. My personal opinion is that Nora's the candy thief. She wrote herself into the story. But Nora has said that she will never divulge who the candy thief is. That's what she said to fans. Alright. So, there she is. They're reviewing the case. They're talking about the case. Peabody and Eve are talking about the case. And they're talking about the kids and stuff like that. And they both have their own bank accounts and make regular monthly deposits. Where do kids get up to $100 a month? Peabody turned to the wall screen, scanned the data. Allowance. Allowance for what? She looked back, shook her head at Eve. Their parents probably gave them a weekly allowance, spending money, saving money, that sort of thing. They get paid for being a kid? More or less. Nice work if you can get it. Household like that, the way this is shaping up, they probably had regular chores, even with a full-time domestic. Keeping their rooms clean, cleaning the table, loading the recycler. Then you get your birthday or holiday money, your school report money. Being a free agent, we did bartering more than pay, but it comes to the same. So if everybody stayed a kid, nobody'd have to get a job. They could have something at school, she continued before Peabody coming in. Heard something. So they changed subjects there. But you know, you get in the olden days, it's probably $1 or more now. But when your tooth falls out, you got a quarter under the pillow, or you got a birthday card from grandma with a couple dollars in it in the olden days, or you took out the trash weekly and you got an allowance, made your bed every day, you got an allowance, and you saved it up for something you wanted. So those were the olden days. Um, so Eve has an issue with the vending machines at her job. And I have said this for the last 20 books, and it's going to go on for a very long time. It's never going to hit her. And I think Nora just likes using it. But eventually, it will occur to Eve that she is an auto chef in her office, and she can get anything and everything under the sun from it. But it hasn't clicked yet. And I have thought, but the character is against it, and Nora is against it because the character is against it because that's what the character would think. But I'm thinking that they should upgrade the vending machines and the cafeteria in the police place because of Rourke, and he could get a contract for it, and he could give them decent food. But Eve believes 100% that the trial and tribulations of being a cop is eating bad food in the cafeteria and vending high calorie, no good for you food out of vending machines. Eve, totally 100%, that's her mindset. And we all keep thinking that the cops would be healthier if Rourke got the contract for vending. So, when she walked towards Homicide in the massive Beehive Cop Central, she spotted Detective Baxter at a vending unit, getting what passed for coffee. She dug out credits, flipped them to him. Tube of Pepsi? Still avoiding contact with vending machines? It's working. They don't piss me off. I don't kick them into rubble. Heard about your case, he said as he plugged in the credits. And so did every reporter in the city. You've got most of them hassling the media liaison and having for an interview with the primary. Reporters aren't on my to-do list at the moment. She took the tube of Pepsi off and frowned. You said most. Why is Nadine First of Channel 75 now sitting on her well-toned ass in my office? How do you know? Not about the ass. Anybody could see First got an excellent ass. You've got cookie crumbs on your shirt, you putz. You let her into my office. With some dignity, he brushed over his shirt. I'd like to see you turn down a bribe of hunka-chunka chips. Every man has his weakness, Dallas. Yeah, I'll kick your well-toned ass later. Sweetheart, you noticed. Bite me, she said. And then they talk about the case. Um, so yeah, she talks with Nadine. So, a minute ago, we were talking about Baxter and Eve having a conversation at the vending machine. She does her stuff with Nadine. And then we have this conversation. I've got a complaint, Peabody says. How come Baxter and most of the other guys always get the good bribes? How come being your partner means I get shafted on the goodies? Price you pay. We're heading to Whitney. Do you have any news I should know about before we report? I talked with McNabb. Purely professional, she says. We hardly made any kissy noises. Feeney put him on the household links and D's and C's and Grant Schwincher's units from his office. It always weird as Eve's opinion to have Somerset materialize in the foyer like a recurring nightmare the minute she walked in the door. But it was weirder yet to see him there with a small blonde girl at his side. The girl's hair was shiny, wavy blonde, as if she'd been freshly washed and brushed. Who did that? Eve wondered. Did the kid deal with her own hair, or had Somerset done it? And she thought of that, given her the heebies. But the kid looked comfortable and looked comfortably enough with him. Even had her hand in his, and the cat at her feet. Isn't this a fine welcome? Rourke shrugged out of his coat. How are you, Nixie? Okay, we made apple pie. Did you now? Rourke said, picking up Galahad. That's a favorite. You can make a lot of little ones with the leftovers. That's what I did. Those big eyes, big and blue, lasered into Eve's. Did you catch him yet? No. Investigations like this take some time. Why? On the screen, it doesn't take that long. Well, this is real life, kid, not the screen. Baxter says she's a major butt kicker. Well then, now, Rourke said. He'd be right. Where are they? Baxter and Trueheart. In your office. Dinner will be served in 15 minutes. Nixie, we will need to set the table. I'm just going to. This time, Rourke took Eve's hand, squeezed. We'll be down. I've got work. Shh, the kid. It has to be explained to Eve. The kid needs a little sense of normalcy. She needs to sit down to dinner like a family situation. The kid needs normalcy, and this has to be explained to Eve because, as you all know, Eve grew up in the foster system and never had a normal life. And some of the foster families treated her absolutely horrible. So this is her first taste of anything even close to being normal. I think we need to make time. An hour won't hurt, Eve. I'd say that child needs as much normalcy as we can manage. Dinner at table is normal. I don't see what's more normal about shoveling food in off a big flat surface than shoveling it in at your desk. It's multitasking. It's efficient. She scares you, Roxanne. She stopped dead and her eyes went to lethal slits. Just where the hell do you come off saying that? Because she scares me too. They're not used to being around kids. And being from their childhood, because Rook had a similar childhood. They're not used to being around other kids. Alright, so then they all sit down to dinner, and Baxter is enjoying some steak. And they talk about the case. Then the next morning, this is funny. Rourke is trying to get Eve to have some breakfast the next morning. And he says to her, have some eggs. I'm going to go over some data in my office before the rest of the team gets here. Have some eggs first, he repeated, and made her roll her eyes as she shrugged on the shirt. She marched over, picked up his plate, and shoveled in 2 forkfuls of his omelet. I didn't mean mine. Be more specific, she said. Where's the cat? I will have you know. I would say, I don't want to age myself, but many, 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 many years ago, I walked into a New York pizzeria and my future husband was sitting at the table enjoying a slice. And I think I ordered Chinese food that day. And the Chinese place was next door. But I saw his car, knew he was there, went in, took the pizza off his plate, thank you, and left with his pizza, and then went and got the Chinese. I did that a lot. And he had to get another piece of pizza. He tells people that story all the time. So that's why that just struck me funny when I read that. I was like, ah. Marriage to Eve's mind was a kind of obstacle course. You had to learn when to jump over, when to belly under, and when to stop your forward motion and change direction. She had work and at the moment would have preferred that forward motion, but figured when you dumped a strange kid on her spouse, you should at least give him a heads up when it looked like the stay might be extended. The parents that had let the kid, this is probably a little plot related and probably really shouldn't, but I already started my sentence. But the couple that had left their daughters to the sleepover was the people's designated guardian of the kids if something happened to the parents, and they refused to take Nixie because she's a reminder of the fact that they lost their own daughter. So they refused. So then, even Rourke, he tries to find other people, and then it's like at the end of the book, Eve has this light bulb moment, and he's like, "Well, why the f didn't I think of that?" But it takes a while. So she has to talk to Rourke about it. Where am I? 6/1/22. I could just sit here and read the whole book. They go into another crime scene. I guess it's a little plot related, but the social worker that Eve had the fight with the very first night was kidnapped because the people that did the killing want to kill Nixie because it's a loose end. And even though the kid knows zero, she's still a loose end. Eve spotted the Channel 75 van parked in a loading zone on Avenue B. She whipped by it, then double parked beside the black and white already at the curb. She spotted Nadine as well. It was hard not to when the perfectly streaked hair and the vivid royal blue of the reporter's on-air suit sprang out like an exotic bloom against the faded forest of dingy shirts and smudgy concrete. She was cozied up with a trio of daily doorway lurkers, but peeled off towards Eve. I never said I wouldn't ask questions, Nadine said immediately, but I've kept it off record for now. Your uniform's inside with the woman who claims to have seen the grab and recognized the grabbie. Hi, Peabody. How you doing? Better, thanks. Keep the cameras off. Public street, Nadine began. Public. Nadine, do you know why I often give you an inside track? Because it's not just the story with you. You actually give more than a passing thought to the people in the story. And you wouldn't, not even for ratings, sacrifice those people to get your pretty face on air. Well, shit. Now that you put it that way. So then, she goes to talk to the witnesses, quote unquote. And Detective Peabody, in your professional opinion, did this individual who has probably witnessed a crime just solicit a member of the NYPSD for a bribe in exchange for information regarding the crime? That it does appear to be the case, Lieutenant. Me and my associates need some jack. You give, you get. And my detective, what would be my most usual response to such a solicitation? Your response, Lieutenant, would be to haul said individual and possible his associates into Central, possibly charged with obstruction of justice and impeding a police investigation. You would also determine if subject and or his associates had sheets. If so, you would then spend considerable time running their daily and potentially making their lives for the short term at least a stinking hell. That's exactly correct, Detective. You catch any of that? He actually looked hurt. No, Jack! This is also correct. Now I repeat, what did you see? What do you know? You gonna take me in? I don't say. Two correct answers in a row. Wanna try for three? Uh, I gotta turn you off. You keep going off for no freaking reason. Never should have turned you on. I don't know why you got on. Alright, where was I? So then she goes home for the day. Eve walked into her own home as if she were walking into an op. No one comes in, no one goes out, she snapped to Somerset. Without my clearance, savvy? Certainly. Where's the kid? In the game room with Officer Treehart. Somerset hitched back the cuffs of his black jacket to reveal a wrist unit. Not a timepiece, Eve noted, but a monitor. On it, she saw Trueheart and Nixie battling it out on one of Rourke's classic pinball machines. I took the precaution of pinning a Homer on her sweater, he added. If she moves from one location to another, it signals. Despite herself, Eve was impressed. Sweet! They will not lay a hand on that child. He looked at him. He lost a child, a daughter not that much older than this one. Whatever else she thought of him, she understood he would stand as Nixie's shield. No, they won't. Rourke, he's here in his private office. Right. Then Peabody comes in. Head up, will you, Peabody? Give back to the current. I'm going to update Rourke, then we'll conference my office. Okay. Then I missed it. Then Rourke and her have a conversation about because it's bringing up stuff for Eve. Lieutenant, I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry about what I may be bringing here. Pause operations. You're upset, he said as coolly as he had spoken to the equipment. So I'll forgive that insulting remark. Rourke, Eve, are we a unit, you and I? Doesn't seem to be any way around it, or through it, or under it, or over it. Don't apologize to me for doing what you felt was right for the child. I could have taken her to a safe house. I second guessed myself a half a dozen times. And they talk about the case. They go into case details there. Alright. So then skip ahead here. Oh, she's in the game room. You should come in with me. She needs to see you routinely, Mira said. To remember me in connection to you so she's comfortable with me. Once she's seen you, you can go. Alright, jeez. Nixie was standing on a stool and pushing the buttons for the flippers on a pinball machine. The one Eve noted with cops and robbers, Rourke's particular favorite. Trueheart was cheering her on and looked about 2 years older than his charge. You've got it now. You've got it. Blast them good, Nix. In pursuit. Armed suspects. You rock. The tiniest smile tugged at her cheeks, but her eyes were focused, her brow knitted in fierce concentration. Eve smelled popcorn and saw a bowl of it on one of the tables. The wall screen was on, volume up to scream, with one of Mavis's videos blaring. Mavis Freestone herself, in a little more than a sparkle of paint, converted on the screen with what looked like to be a number of mostly naked pirates. I'm not sure that video, however entertaining, is appropriate for girl Nixie's age. Huh? Eve looked back at Mira. Oh, well, am I supposed to turn it off? Never mind. Mira patted Eve's hand and waited till Nixie lost the ball. I still didn't get high score. Beat the pants off me, but I can't beat Rock. Maybe he cheats. Wouldn't put it past him, Eve said. But I've watched him on that thing. You just can't beat him. No, not yet. When I get them, you'll be the first to know. Hello, Nixie. You may not have gotten high score, but that looks very impressive to me. It's not good enough. When it's the best you can do, it is good enough. Maybe Rourke will play with you sometime. Maybe he'll show you some of his tricks. You think? You can ask him and see. Hello, Officer Trueheart. Dr. Mira, nice to see you. Do you all know the police? Nixie wanted to know. Not all, but quite a few. I'd like to talk to you again, Nixie, but first I wonder if you'd show me how to play that machine. It looks like fun. I guess if you want to, I do. I'll need to turn off the screen first. But it's Mavis! She's the ult! Oh, I think so too. I have quite a few of her just myself. Did you know Lieutenant Dallas and Mavis are friends? Very good friends? Get back! She bit her lip. Excuse me, I'm not supposed to sass adults. That's all right. You were just surprised, huh? Oh, yeah. Mavis and I are pals. You talk to her in person? Well, sure. Does she ever come here, right to the house? All the time. And she tells Nixie that she'll invite Mavis over to talk to her. And Nixie it's one of those things that you're so excited you want to tell your best friend, and then it hits her that her best friend is not here anymore. That's really sad for a kid to experience that at an early age like that. It's not right for anybody to go through that. Um, so then Peabody is trying to say that she's fit to work. Um, she's telling Peabody that she needs Peabody to go home, get some rest because she needs her fresh tomorrow. To continue on the case. I'm your partner. This case is mine too. I knew those guys. I'm also your lieutenant, and you're going to want to be careful before you end up in an insubordinate file. F my file. F you too. If you think I give a rat's ass about it. Slowly, Eve rose out of her chair. Peabody's chin jutted out, her jaw clenched, and so did her fist. Going to take a shot at me, detective? You'll be on your ass and bloody before you finish the swing. Maybe. In all the time they'd worked together, Eve had seen Peabody pissed, hurt, and sad, and ready to rumble, but she'd never seen her boiling with all of it. A choice had to be made quickly. Plow in, step back. And just as quickly, Eve decided to do neither. Her eyes stayed steady in her stance at the ready. You're beautiful when you're angry. There was a blink then. Dallas! All hot and steamy. If I went for girls, I'd jump you right now. I didn't call you for the reasons I just told you, plus this one. Her hand snapped out fast as a flick whip and connected with Peabody's ribs. Peabody's breath sucked in and her face lost all color until it came back with a fainting tinge of green. That was just mean. Even for you. Yeah, I'm telling you. You're not 100% yet. You don't get downtime. You're no good to me. You know, she's a partner. I can't afford to worry about you, and I am. I don't like seeing you hurting. That nearly makes up for the punch in the ribs. The fact that you called that tap a punch ought to tell you something. You nearly died. Well, Jesus, Dallas, you nearly died. I was afraid you would. Sick and afraid. I know, I get that. I cleared you to come back because medical said you could handle light duty. This isn't turning out to be light. I'm not taking you off the case because I know if I were in your shoes, which would never happen, as I'd have to be beaten unconscious before you'd get those pink air boots on my feet. Salmon. What, you hungry? No, the shoes. The color is salmon. More the reason I'm really going to wear fish shoes. So, God, what was I saying? You gotta love it. You really gotta love it. Alright. So let's skip ahead a little bit. And um I don't know why I pulled this out, but um I don't even see where I had why I picked this page out. Are you back? Is your majesty back? Yes, ma'am? What? Are you giving me your back again? What? What? Whack. Whack. See, whack. Don't hit me. They talk about one of the eyewitnesses. Alright, anyway, let's just move on here. Let's see what this. I love these books. I just love them. Oh, Nixie has a nightmare, and she wants. They talk about uh even Rock when they had nightmares when they were kids. They have that private conversation. And Nixie also wants pictures of her family. She wants to see them in the morgue, so that's part of that conversation. So we'll just skip that. All right, moving forwards here. Would you stop whacking me? What? What? What's the matter? My child here. She's all here. So where was I? So they're driving. They're driving. And would you stop hitting me? I'm getting slapped. I'm getting slapped. Leaves going, Chris skidded across the sweep of the drive as Eve drove through the gates. New sets of policies, probabilities, and action required for both circled in her mind. Wind's coming, Peabody observed. Rain's coming. Thank you for the forecast. It's going to strip the trees. I always hate to see that happen. Then they're all naked out there, at least until we get the first snow. You're worried? Maybe you and some of your free agent relations can knit them some sweaters. I'm better at weaving, Peabody's voice remained placid while Eve parked in front of the house. Haven't hit the loom in a good long while, but I bet I could pick it up again. I should think about that with Christmas right around the corner. Oh, stop. It's October. Nearly November. I'm not going to let it get away from me this year. I've already started picking up gifts. Easier to afford it now because, hey, I'm a detective. The fact of which you've never forgotten to remind me and anyone else within hearing. I added time in due to being injured on the line. Still, I've cut it back to once or twice a week. Do you love the way it smells? What smells? The air, Dallas. It's almost November and the rain's rolling on the air city, all brisk and damp, and you've got those mums and asters going over there. Just a little spicy, makes me want to rake up a big pile of leaves and jump in it. You know, you're gonna drive me crazy. You keep hitting me. What you keep hitting me for? And then they run into Somerset when they get into the house and they have some words. Um I see you've decided to make an appearance. Yeah, and for that, my next act will I'll boot your ugly ass out of my way. You've brought a child into this house who needs and expects some of your time and attention. I brought a witness, minor, into this house who needs and expects me to find out who killed her family. If you can't deal with her while I'm doing that, I'll bring in child care droid to handle it. Is that all she is to you? A witness, minor? A droid has more feeling. She's a child, one who isn't through her first decade, and who has endured unspeakable horror and unsuffered unspeakable loss. And you have to be manipulated into spending a few spare moments with her over the morning meal. I know what she's endured and suffered. I'm the one who walked through the blood they left, so don't you get my face on this. But, would you stop hitting me? I'm getting slaughtered over here. So she has a heart to heart with Peabody. Then later on, she has a heart to heart with Somerset, and they discuss it. All right. This is all about. Mira tells her about she wants to see them. All right. So the next one is the exchange between her and Somerset. I only need a moment of your time. I would apologize. You would what? I would apologize for remarks earlier. They were incorrect. As far as I'm concerned, your remarks are always incorrect. So fine, now make tracks. I'm working. You brought the child here for safekeeping, and you've seen that she's been safely kept. I'm aware that you're working diligently to identify and capture the people who killed her family. It's visibly apparent that you're giving this considerable time and effort, as you have circles under your eyes, and your disposition is even more disagreeable than usual due to the lack of proper rest and nutrition. Bite me, and your clever repartee suffers as a result. How's this for clever repartee? Typical. Very nearly, he couldn't forget that Nixie had told him Eve stood with her when she said goodbye to her mother. She's had a hard day, Lieutenant. She's grieving. And it gets a little of emotional talk there. So let's move forward. Would you stop hitting me? On days like this, all of me wants to go back to the room in Dallas, to have his blood on me and the knife in my hands. I know exactly what I would feel, and it makes us, Eve, who we are. She let out a long breath. I don't know why that helps when it should possibly scare me. She won't feel this way because she had that base, because she could lay her head on her mother's dead heart and cry. She'll have sorrow and nights when she's afraid, but she'll remember why she was able to touch her father's face, her brother's hair, and cry on her mother's chest. She'll remember a cop who stood with her and held her hand when she did. They're going to throw her into the system work. Sometimes it's salvation, sometimes it's good. But not for her. I don't want her to be another case file. To cycle through that like I did. I have an idea that I wanted to run by you. And they talk about the de Blasses. And let's go forwards here. Oh, Eve sends McNabb and Peabody on a mission, on a side trip, and the side trip takes them out of town. And when they take, which, I'm getting whacked over here. I'm getting whacked. I'm serious. Would you stop hitting me? Would you stop hitting me? Well, I'm just gonna hold it then. She's whacking me one. She's hitting me. Alright. So Eve sends him on this side mission, and they take the shuttle, and they get to the location, and Rourke has set them up with transportation. And Eve would have told them to take the bus and walk it, but not Rourke. No, he does a gun. The two-passenger shuttle landed in a small cargo station on North Plate. As per Rourke's memo, there was a vehicle waiting for the last leg of the trip. Peabody McNabb stood in the chilly air, staring at the sleek black jewel. Oh my God, I thought the shuttle was Mag. Heart skipping, Peabody circled. The sleep chairs, the comp stations, the menu on the auto chef, the speed. McNabb added a dopey grin. Peabody set him one back. Yeah, way uptown, but it's a beast. McNabb trailed his fingers along the hood. Man, this baby's gonna swing. Bet your ass. But when she started to open the driver's side door, he took her arm. Wait, who says you get to pilot? My partner's primary. Not good enough. Her husband provided the transpo. Not even. With a shake of his head. I've got a grade on you, detective baby. I wanna. He laughed and dug into one of his many red pockets on his baggy pants. I say we flip for it first. Let me see that credit first. This level of trust is sad, he said, but he handed it over. She studied it, turning it over and okay, and back. Okay, you call, I flip. Tails due to how much I like yours. Fine, I'll take heads due to the fact that yours is so empty. She tossed the credit, snatched it out of the air, slapped it on the back of her hand. Damn. Woo-wee, strap in, she buddy, 'cause we're gonna go to orbit. Are you still whacking me? She's still hitting me. Would you stop hitting me? Yes, I did this video. Would you stop hitting me? I'm gonna pick you up. I swear it. So that's a part of the case. I don't know. Oh, wait, that's the wrong page. Eve was back at her desk when Rourke came into her office. He immediately sniffed the air. You had a burger? What? No. Back to True Hut. Let cops loose near food. It's a free-for-all. They'd want a place in the city, wouldn't they? Baxter and Trueheart? Is there something about the relationship I missed? What? You keep saying that. You need to eat. I'm not talking about Baxter and Trueheart. I'm perfectly aware of that, and yes, I agree. Baxter's a womanizer, and Trueheart, he's just so innocent. Oh, it's what happens when you go to the vampires and give blood, so they give you your meds, and then tell you you're dead. I think I told the story the other day. My pulse rate and my heart rate are very, very low, and that's just normal for me. And you can't do a stress test on me because my heart just does not want to go that fast. They needed to go certain fast to test it or something. My heart won't do it. They tried it twice and they gave up. But anyways, that was years ago. So I usually don't go this far into the book towards the ending. But Rourke and Somerset have a heart-to-heart discussion about this whole case too. So we'll let you read that. And I noted it. I'm not going to read it. You can do that for yourselves. But we get some updated information on Caro. She was a victim. Her husband was murdered, and she was framed for his murder because he was a spy. So that's all interesting information to catch up on. And then then she's telling him she's bringing Mavis in. The kid's a big fan. She brightened up when she heard I knew Mavis, and before I knew it, I'd said something like, yeah, she could meet her. Anyway, it seems like if I had Mavis come in, we'd need Mira to give an opinion on the kid's reaction to the fostering. It would look more casual, like we're having guests over. So she's gonna invite Mavis to come over. Um, let's see. I don't know what this. I forget. Should have. I think she's gone to sleep. I need to get more cats. I need more cats. The little one needs a playmate. Big time. She needs a playmate. Eve had been to some of Mavis's concerts. She'd been backstage and watched the adoring fans lucky enough to gain entrance, but she'd never seen a 9-year-old girl rendered speechless by the mere sight of her friend. Not that the sight couldn't render anyone incapable of speech. Mavis wore her hair in hundreds of ringlets, bright gold and shimmery green, that spilled around her face like some sort of electric mop. Her eyes were gold today as well, with tipped green lashes. She wore a deep purple length coat, which she peeled off upon entering the house to reveal a crotch-length dress in swirls of purple and gold. Her green tights were accented with shiny knee and ankle bracelets and a pair of gold shoes with transparent heels with those same color swirls. Her pregnancy had progressed far enough that her belly popped out of the swirls in a small, neat lump. Her bracelets, knee, ankle, wrist rang like bells as she danced across the floor at Slackjaw and Nixie. I'm Mavis. Mavis only nodded, her head like a puppet on a string. Dallas says you like my music. At the next nod, Mavis grinned. I thought you'd like this. Apparently there was a pocket somewhere in that dazzling swirl as Mavis drew out a disc. It's my new vid for Inside Out Over You. It's not hitting until next month. I can have it. Sure, you want to watch it? Okay, if we go plug it in, Dallas, go ahead. This is the alt. This is serious alt. Linny and I. And then it hits her. And that's, you want to tell your best friend that you're getting a private meeting with a rock star, and then it occurs to you that your best friend is dead. That is just something that's going to hurt for a while, a long while. One of my childhood best friends, she died a couple of years ago. She was studying to be a nurse. She was going for her second career, and she was so busy with everybody else and taking care of everybody else that she neglected herself. She shall be missed. So then she has some really good time with Mavis, and really rocks it out with Mavis. And then we see an old friend, and I just love this, so I'm going to share it. I usually don't go this far to the end of the book. But she meets Kevin, little Kevin. He was a little boy that Eve and Rourke gave to the DeBlasses. They adopted. We'd give Nixie home if she wants it. Give her a chance to heal. We'd be good for her, I think. Kevin certainly would. They've already been making friends. She's telling him about the game, which is apparently the alt. I wonder if I could take them in for a while. Sure, I'll show you where it is. Eve remembered Kevin as a scrawny kid of about 6 with ragged clothes and a bony cat in tow. He filled out, cleaned up, grown up a couple of inches, and showed a gap-toothed grin as he clutched a pudgy Galahad in his arms. He's fat, Kevin said cheerfully, but he's soft. Yeah, well, Galahad aimed his dual-colored eyes at Eve in a way that promised payback for the indignity. You don't have to carry him. I like to. I have a cat named Dopey, and now I have a puppy too, named Butch. I go to school and I eat like a horse. Behind them, Elizabeth laughed. He certainly does. If I had a horse, the way Kevin slid his eyes slyly in his mother's direction told Eve he knew where the butter was best slathered. I would ride him like a cowboy. One step at a time, little man. Let's see how you handle Butch. Do you like horses, Nixie? I got to pet one that pulled a carriage around the park. It was nice. At his first sight of the Nirvana Rocks game room, Kevin let out a shout. Galahad dumped Galahad on the floor and raced to the closest arcade game. And then the kids spent some time together. Um, so that's the end of that. So that's Survivor in Death, Book 20. And my gal pal here is passed out cold and she stopped hitting me. Survivor in Death. Then we move on to. I left the CDs upstairs, but I have all of these on audio CD too. And in the future, they become audible. But at this point in junction, I'm still buying CDs. 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 And I hope you will check out Origin and Death next week. But Nixie Swisher we will see Nixie Swisher a couple more times. We will see Kevin a couple more times in the future. We will watch Peabody and McNabb move into their new apartment. We will watch them hang out with Mavis and Leonardo. We're gonna grow. We're gonna hang out with Rourke's family. The series is just growing and growing, and it's gonna be awesome. And I hope you will continue each and every Saturday with me with these books. And raise a hand if you want more. Me. Oh, someone woke up. Someone's hitting me again. Have a good one. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Have a good one.